Okay, interesting. Let us now switch into a little bit of the electoral democracy.
Yes.
Right now, currently, when you look at the world over, statistically, it looks like the democracy is failing. We have, in America, US, which is probably a superpower, we've had the previous 2 elections where they have called out the bribing and the cheating. They have not been fair.
Yes.
What do you think, you as an individual, what do you think about democracy?
Thank you.
The current democracy.
Thank you so much. Now moving away from the personalized to the global, to the even going through Africa to the US. When you look at the trends of the leaderships, that the persons, the faces behind the challenges or the degeneration of democracy, it's not general, they're human beings who had their human weaknesses. It also goes to the issue of transformational and transactional events. Where you elect a businessman, you saw what has happened in America. Transactional, not transformational. Transformation is about the soft power.
Yeah.
Globally, democracy, politics is now more about wealth and material things, hardware. We now need to rethink the time of our generations. And even be people like Kwame Nkrumah, people like Sankara, people like those icons, Nelson Mandela's and so on. What made them to be the people they were? And at the helm of their leadership, how was democracy and participation, human rights observance in there? We need to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, Mwalimu Nyerere, and you know what he had done, and then you know what also the Magufuli came and he did, with due respect, is now, you know. So we need to reflect on the leaderships and what they stand for. You have seen China.
Yes.
Hardware, expansion. You know, much as people don't talk good about them, they are aggressively taking over. They are.
This is because
yes. So it's about the hardware. So it's time now the world starts reflecting on humaneness of politics and democracy. The software, the mindset of people, the skills of people, the heart of people. Asionzi, Chwinchol, and how are the software identities of these leaderships? The health. So it's time we start reflecting and looking at that from a point of view of the software and humanity. Ubuntu. We need together. We are going to leave these houses here. Okay? But where are we transiting into? How are we living? You know? Not the winner takes it all. And I would like to ground that specifically.
Yes.
When the missionaries came to Africa. There's a book. When the missionaries, I've forgotten the title, but I will remember. They used to move with the sweets in their pockets. They would move with sweets in their pockets, and so this missionary goes to a village, and then their children. You even saw here when we always have, we don't run sort of human beings. So these kids were so many in the village, and you sing this muzungu, and they ran to him. Then he gave one sweet, and then said, "You share." Then after that, he took a whole box and put it next to a tree. Said, "Now, democracy, you know." Said, "Now, all of you," there were over 30 children. Said, you start running. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Get set, go. The person who reaches there will eat all this, you know, will have all these sweets. So 1, 2, 3, go. The children started looking for one another. The African children. Democracy, togetherness. For the people, by the people, with the people. Kids, they held their hands, they started their song, and went up to the tree, they picked it. The man was shocked, said, "Hey, why didn't you run individually and compete?" They said, "It is not about me. It's about all of us. When we eat it together, then we are happy and it lasts longer. We're even going to share and we take others to other people." That is the doctrine the philosophy of democracy that we need to bring back. It's not, oh, I'm the first to run there, I'm the one who discovered the River Nile. Hey, Pastor, I've been here in Africa for a long time. Hey, I am the one now. This has to be me. Hey, COVID. Money. You are building flats. You are one person sincerely. And in the flats, you know, I'm like, do these people know that they are going to die? All they need is just a 4x6. Do they know? So that practice, that to put that in practice, humanity, togetherness. I am because you are. Since you are, therefore we are. Okay? That has to be, and it is your generation to do this. My generation has lost it.
One of my favorite quotes is from the former Attorney General of Uganda,
yes,
David Kempanga.
Yes.
He says, until we feel each other's pain, we
yes,
shall never get to states where we had comforts.
Absolutely. Even Mwalimu Nyerere stated that there are two quotes from him I love so much. He says, we cannot preach God loves you and so on to a hungry man. This person will only see God in the form of cassava. Eh? So you give the cassava, he eats, he drinks water, and then he starts saying, this is God and loves you so much. You know, the other quote from Mwalimu Nyerere I love so much actually is about togetherness. You know, being together. If you fail to provide for the very many who are so poor, if you fail to provide for them, how are you going to protect the few who are rich? How? That was a quote from Mwalimu Nyerere. So democracy is about us, our status being together, and it's about moving together. We can only move together as so globally. We have failed. One man called what is his name, Billy, whoever, this rich guy who has now brought us. What kind of money does he want? The pharmacists. So we have this greed, which has to end. Greed on hard
material things. Do you then think, as Africa, we need to define our own democracy?
Absolutely.
To design it.
Absolutely. You know, Africa, togetherness. When you enter anybody's home, those days, not my generation, my mother, I remember vividly, taking that the person who is political would cook extra food. Anybody come, and our home was near a road. You have, whether you know that person or not, they have to eat this food together. And you must never deny food, you must never deny water. The way the Africa is the brotherhood, okay? But not, this one of the transactional. You go to people's, there is a generation now, you visit them, first you have to make an appointment. Then everybody is on WhatsApp. One is ordering, some of them are here, one is ordering chapati, Rolex, and is eating. He's looking at the friend and is eating alone. The personal is political.
Now, seeing as you've really participated in Ugandan politics for quite some time right now, how far do you think we have moved as a country?
Oh, how far have we moved?
Yes.
We have moved backwards a lot.
How so?
We have moved beyond 1960 to the time of independence. We really have. When you look at education, when you look at our time, we used to pass through schools. Now, your generation, the schools are passing through you. The political dogs, we went to them in the 80s, 90s, and so on as a country. The dogs have now come to us. And they are dwelling in all the offices. Look at the services. Go to Mulago. Whoever would think that because you cannot afford 100,000, your spouse, your wife, is pulled off oxygen. Whoever would think that we would then take 100,000? The man is kneeling down, is holding your leg and is printing in Hoima. Whoever thought? Is that not politics? That because you cannot have the 100,000 now, this woman must die. 100,000. Whoever thought a nurse in uniform is coming from a health center? With the, they have watches here and the pens and so on. And he reaches the COVID militarized roadblock. And the policeman has seen, starts boxing her ears until blood is oozing. Whoever thought? Isn't that politics? Whoever thought that a gang of men would come and arrest a woman in her 60s and drive her very fast to a police cell and lock her with men? Whoever thought that? Whoever thought that military would take over police? Whoever thought that because you're wearing red, you're condemned to death, you're shot to kill? Whoever thought that schools, generations would be lost? Because education is the key. Nelson Mandela says that if you want to kill a nation, you just work around the education. Whoever thought that? The situation is actually scary. At one point, when someone will say the world has come to an end, I think I may be forced to believe. Because I cannot imagine
what is happening.
I can't. Whoever thought that for me to be promoted, whether I have education or not, I need to sleep with you, I sleep with him, I sleep with all of you? Whoever thought that? Sexization. Whoever thought? Then I have to bleach myself, I have to, this is the what. Whoever thought we would degenerate that? I leave it to you.
That is true. Where do you see some gaps? Since you said we've gone backwards a lot, and how should we fix the gaps that you personally identified in your journey with our politics and our governance?
When you are getting something fresh, it starts from the head.
That's true.
And if you want it to stay fresh, it has to start from the head. 1, 2. We have no institutions anymore. We have robbers in those institutions. Police, you don't know whether this is a policeman or a military. It will take generations. It is scary, but the moment we start the journey, the Chinese have a saying, a journey of 1,000 kilometers starts with one step. And we must take that deliberate step as a country. Then too, we must not see it as Joseph's assignment, Chagulani's assignment. Hey, now we don't have food here. What are you going to do? Hey, the other doctor died. Now we need to go on. No. J.F. Kennedy said, we must stop asking, what can America do for us? But rather, what can we do for America? It will take all of us to fix it. And it will take the hands to fix it. Everybody must do their part. We must start by repenting. As simple as repenting. Repentance and acknowledging that yes, things have gone bad. Then we start fixing it together, purposefully.
Okay. Thank you. That is very interesting. I'm now again going to switch into the Arua by-election.
Yes!
So we talk about that. Now, that has been one of the most violent by-elections ever. Do you ever regret taking part in it?
Yeah.
Do you regret taking part in it? Because of course it cost a few people.
Yeah, it did. It did. It did. And may their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Not fortunately, by that time I was out of the country. I was just doing a lot of things on remote. After the elections, I went out. I was in the US. But I monitored it a lot. And I joined now at the time the arrests had taken place with the council's Nicholas Opio, for whom I have a lot of respect, and the lawyers and the media people and staff. My regret only comes at a time when the person, Honorable Cassiano, makes a U-turn and he denies that glaring event. Instead of saying sorry, mea culpa, that one for me stands out and said, God, why would these people have died? Why would His Excellency Chagulani almost that night, if it wasn't the acts of the angel, I don't know what else, this was the miracle of the year, he would be dead because it was shoot to kill. And indeed, we have people who died. Okay. We have people like Honorable Kaseno Wadri's driver, Shaban Atiku, who is bedridden. Up to today, we can call him, whom he has denied. That is where I not only regret, but I really challenge sometimes us as human beings. Where is our heart? Where is our responsibility? Where is our gratitude? But otherwise, the Arua resilience propelled His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu to run in the recent elections. He was still relaxed, he was going to be running in 2026. But after that event, after Bugiri, after Rukunjiri,
this was from motivation.
His friends just knew that it was time. It was no longer his preparedness, but it was preparedness of the people of Uganda. Solid.
Do you think something would have been done better by the opposition to mitigate this incident in a way that maybe some lives are not lost, or it was never in your control?
It wasn't in the control of the opposition. It was in the control of the military and the government. That they totally failed to appreciate or to accept that the communities were not with them. That the president of the presidential candidate, his new name is Tiburekuru or whoever, Museveni, could not comprehend and accept this massive crowd. And when he didn't have any, he had the Anitas who were buying people. They were buying, paying with the later brigands. And where is he now? So they did not comprehend it at all, and they refused to accept. So the opposition has no blame. They did what they did. The communities did what they did to show, their preference, and it is the response, the action, and the omissions of the state and the excess use of power that should actually be, we condemn it up to today, up to tomorrow. Yeah.
Are you in touch with any of these victims from the Arua violations?
Yes, I'm in touch with Shaban Atiku. Recently, he was brought here for checkup. He can't walk anymore. In fact, even yesterday, he called. He was bitten by a snake. During some time back, his one of the huts was burnt down. I'm in touch with him absolutely. I'm in touch with quite a number of them. I'm also in touch with the recent victims. Some of them who were tied in February, January, after the elections in Obongi. What happened is the most barbaric. And because we didn't have social media and whatever media there, our polling agents tied to stones because the state wanted very badly the declaration forms. These guys refused. They were tied and thrown in river. I have the kids here. The others were coming to this one called Fabian. They had now, recruited to go to Kachira as casual laborers. They reached Luero. There's this military checkpoint. They were in that Kasambu lorry, quite over 45 people. 4 of them had the NUP cards. The 2 were just thrown from the lorry. Their head just hit the road and they died. They are buried in a mass grave in Luero.
May their souls rest in peace.
Amina, Fabiano was skinned. Denounce NUP, it is a Buganda thing. Denounce NUP, it is a Buganda thing. He didn't die. He was thrown in Nakawa. Picked from Nakawa, taken to Naguru, from Naguru to Mulago. Unfortunately, he died because he refused to denounce. Their crime, they were found with the NUP cards, membership cards, casual workers, and the children are here with me. We went for the burial. I have the videos, I have the evidence. And one of his brothers was even in the military in Somalia. He came back, he's now a deserter. You've seen. Not them related to me, but when I saw the situation of the children. So I am in touch with the communities. Yes, we are. Those in Igulu, those in Karamoja, every day my phone is ringing. Send us only 5,000. We go to sleep. The men are arrested, others in mass graves, others actually in Italia, others, yes, young men. I am in touch with their wives. Yes, I am.
The recently concluded 2021 elections, what are your general views on it? In general?
The January parliamentary and presidential elections, my general conclusion is we were robbed of our victory. Ugandans were raped in broad daylight, militarily, monetarily. The security, the insecurities around it exposed the level of impunity. That much as we signed to international standards for protection and respect for human rights, it's not there. My view is the military has taken over and descended in every space. Brutal. To the extent they actually were not confident of the military in Uganda. They even brought mercenaries. We met military in Kalanga who were speaking Portuguese. They had to get the... We shook them so much. The militarization now has gone to the next level, and they think they're getting away with it. They are still hunting us. Yesterday, Lumbu was, Mama Zedriga, they are looking for you. You know? And immediately after elections, I actually had to be evacuated. I am supposed to be dead because I've refused to be bought. I've refused, you know? So a number of other people, the disappearances are still on, and no one is safe.
That is true.
No one is safe.
Right now, even
that is
a post on social media can disappear.
Yes.
I've had friends.
Absolutely, even just wearing red. Yes, just wearing red.
Do you at some point feel like this is continuation of Arua what happened in Arua in 2017?
Actually, Arua was not even where this started. This thing started from 1985 when this man took over. He has just continued to, you know, upscale it. Yeah, Arua was yet another milestone. Yeah, and when I read his wife's book, and then she wrote that this is a guy who used to be sent from her with milk to her parents, and he would drink that milk on the way and go back. And then his village mates, some of them said, this is a guy who would not even want to lose a small game like Kwepena. He loses it, he takes it very personal. So it is the personality. It is him. Okay? And changing now his state, you know, we are working, this is a fundamental change. Now all over the servant leadership, then he says, no, I'm working for my grandchildren. You know, this whole pronouncements, it's about the head. It wasn't Arua. Arua only, you know, at time, that was the time, I want to quote my former president, Mao.
Yes.
There's a clip that he put, just to describe it. He says, just to say whether it was Arua where it started. He says that there's a guy who died, a rich man who died. Then he was told you can either go to hell or you can go to heaven. You can have a choice. He said, okay, let me first go to try hell. He went to hell that day. He had been told, here Satan has a tail, has horns, has what? But he reached Satan had no tails, no. People were eating, he even saw some of his friends, people were drinking, it was fun, people were dancing. He said, okay, I've sampled you, now let me go to heaven. So he to heaven. He reached there, the angels were there singing and so on. In fact, he even considered it boring. So the angel said, now you have seen the two places, where are you going? He said, I'm not staying here, heaven is too boring, let me go to hell. In the lift, he reaches hell, it opens. Satan, now there was fire, he was whipping people, his horns were out, his clothes were out, people were gnashing teeth. Said, Satan, Lucifer, do you remember? He said, yes. You remember I was here the other day, but what has changed? He said, no, that time you came for campaigns. So what I'm saying is the clothes have been there. They're only exposed now more because he has really seen that the people of Uganda desperately want change, and he's not going to take that.
Now, yeah, speaking of that in general, you people are at the forefront of this change.
Yes.
The opposition in just not NUP,
yes.
You have all these other parties. So there's always these rumors that we are not united. The opposition is not united. So do you think this is one of the issues as to why opposition keeps losing their election? Because there's disharmony?
Two things. Practical experience. Museveni and NRM, especially him, he has been boasting that by the next election there will be no opposition. I don't know whether you followed that very seriously. In fact, even 2015, 2016, said in 2021 there will be totally no opposition. The way dictatorships operate is to weaken the opposition. And the way they operate is to make sure that, you know, they position themselves as popular people. That for me, a lot is propaganda. They position it as if we don't talk to one another. We do. We do. We talk to each other. Okay? The second take as a scholar of conflict resolution. Conflict or disagreements are part of human beings. In fact, if two of us are always agreeing, there's something wrong with you or with me. So we need to go to Butabika. We cannot always be agreeing, it is wrong. So it's okay for us, you know, to disagree. However, opposition has also come from with its own dynamics, you know. For example, now we are the social democrats. We're social democrats, we're young, mostly young people, are dynamic and so on. Political parties are founded on different values and dynamics. It's like wearing a dress. It's like marrying somebody, you know. This is the sample I want, okay? But you cannot just say the two are the same. But are they speaking to one another? What I want to agree with is, because of the spaces, the militarized spaces, the shrunk spaces for participation, for meaningful engagement, the junta has totally hijacked any form of coming together because he knows the power when this political. So it's being kept at bay, propaganda and also practically, but also secondly, political participation in Uganda has highly been too much militarized. We are speaking to one another, but also the individual within the leaderships of these organizations, okay? Like civil societies. Can you say, okay, now Forum for Women and Democracy and ideas should come together one? No, you are founded for different reasons. Exactly. So it's only how do we get stronger? How do we come together like you always do to come for maybe events, you know? And we push for a common front. We started it. Actually, one of my assignments was that. And you saw us in the Floral Hotel in Wakiso coming together, but the police could not allow us to breathe, even to say hello. They came with the tear gas and so we cannot meet We have to meet like people who are quoting in my generation in the village. You see, even the dog coming, you have to run. You think this is your uncle coming to beat you. You know? Yeah. So the space is not there. It's not. But otherwise, they are willing to talk. People are talking. They are talking. Like, for example, the time when in Nalufenya event, the local event, all of them, the leaderships, stayed their campaigns. We went with them to Makerere guest house. We were chased away from there. We could, you know, Honorable His Excellency Mao and the rest. Even Tumukunde, all the candidates came together in solidarity. That if the yes,
totally remember that.
Yes.
Now, money and politics. Since also there are reports, of course, that politics in Uganda has been monetized a lot. Yeah. And right now, to participate, you must have money. And it looks like also the money is on one side. The most money. So
you're being very polite. Yes, proceed. Yes.
What is your view on if me, a young man, how do I stand on my values and I do not have the money it takes to win? How do I then get into politics?
It comes at two levels. Every candidate, in fact, the money used has scaled up. People are using billions for campaign. But in terms of the values, we also have people like me who stood. I never had it. People have sold off their houses, by the way. People have, there are those after elections 2015. Yeah. There's a lady who actually stayed in prison because she put her house in Honorable Angofiro. She had been in the other parliament. She had replaced Honorable Bakoko. She stood 2016. She served in the yellow uniform. Yeah, we're going. Yeah, yellow uniform in prison because of this. But personally, for me, I did not believe in that. However, you are pushed by the electorate. When you have spoken to people like this, the first thing they will say, where do we sign? Check us the mangoes. Say, madam, you speak very good English. Yeah. But our throat is dry.
Chai.
Kwete. We will not eat your English. You understand? So also the mentality of the electorate, it has gone to that. So we now need to start the deconstruction from that level. And it will not be an overnight thing. It will be constructed sustainably. It cannot just be on the day of election. No, we need to continue and start with civic education. There's no civic education and voter education in Uganda. Yeah. So people have actually degenerated and said, this is our time, we must eat. So we need to start it from that point of view. And then the candidates. We need to build people's confident that you can actually go. Sometimes the words you speak remain. Yeah? Yes. Monetization of politics at whatever level, even class in the primary schools, I'm told you have to buy sweets. It has degenerated to that level. And it is now a cancer that deliberately we need to start thinking to deconstruct, to heal, to treat. It's bad. The situation is so bad, by the way.
Also,
even sometimes some of the media to cover you, they will ask you for money.
That's true.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. Now, you of course mentioned that you are taking care of some of these victims of these incidences and arrests.
How unfortunate I did not talk. I wish I didn't talk about it. Yes, I am, but I wouldn't want it to become a media thing.
No, it's just not that. My question here is, what is now the party doing to make sure that some of these people who have been affected get some justice?
Yeah, this is a very young political party, but we have structures in place. We actually have some focal point person in charge of welfare, Shifra, and with the teams. Regionally, of course, the situation is overwhelming. It has totally overwhelmed us. It should not even have been the party, first of all. It's not the party that caused that. So the blame or the responsibility must never at any one time go to the party. The party is documenting these experiences. Yes. Our lawyers who even had the full list were arrested. And so first of all, the government deliberately caused this. So it must be held responsible ab initio. That I would like to go on record. The party, in its humor, it's not even obliged. It's not duty bound. It's not. So, out of humaneness, in its infancy stages of also surviving from the childhood, from these 5 major childhood things, and with our leadership, so even running for their lives, they are documenting these experiences. They are doing what they can. We are overwhelmed.
Interesting. In final conclusions, I think I have now 2 more questions. What do you think needs to be done to make our electoral democracy work for us?
A number of things. The reforms must be very, very, very deliberately, because we must look as a country at the root causes of this failed democracy.
Yeah.
We are a failed democracy. We are a failed state. So the deconstruction has to come from the roots. We must uproot it, and we can only uproot it by an evidence-based approach to it. Multi-sectoral in all sectors. Structures, institutions have failed. As a country, we are, if a sickness, you would not only be on a drip, but we need to be on blood, constant blood. So it's everybody's responsibility, and deliberately, but mostly the young people. Look at the number of graduates getting out and the quality of graduates. So it has to go to the root, and it has to go, because the degeneration was constructed. So the regeneration also has to be deliberately reconstructed from the software. The 4H I was telling you, the mindset of the people, the skills of the people, of the person, the heart of the person, omutima mulungi. Naye kati omutima gwafe asiyonzi ambamba. It's dirty.
Yes.
It's bad. Self-confidence zero. That's why I can go and say, I'm so what work do you do? I can do any work. What is any work? Self-confidence zero. So, and then the health of the people. So we need to do this for the human beings and also for the institutions. And there are some key institutions we can start with. Yes. For example, prioritize pilot education. We have to change. For example, in NUP, for us we had a Feast 5. Yeah. And education, we said we are going to look at the athletics, we are going to look at academics, we are going to look at the arts. Okay? Why would I be learning so much about Napoleon when actually I should be learning how to make a map?
That is true. Yes.
When it's not me to do that. So we would like to look at developing this we are using the 3 A's for education. Academics, receive you and identify from a very young age. The arts, music, dance and stuff, and then the athletics. We must develop that. It builds people's confidence. Okay? So, and right now, we have to revamp people's not only self-confidence but having big dreams. I was doing a research for the African Union IGAD about mechanisms targeting the youth on preventing and countering violent extremisms in the IGAD region. It was a 2-country research, Uganda and so to talk about just to see what should be done. The emphasis is on the humanness, on the reclaiming human dignity and identity and confidence. So we had the hotspots.
Yes.
So we were for a focus group discussion. This young man told, "Hey, what is your future?" The guy says, "Future? I don't have a future. My future is in the coffin." I said, "Why?" Because if it's not the police to kill me, then it is the hunger to kill me, or it is my colleagues, And somebody with that mentality that he doesn't have tomorrow. His is today, and he's either in the coffin or in a police cell. Really. So we need to reclaim people's, you know, they generationally, they must have confidence, they must have dreams, they must, you know, having big dreams. It's very important. It's very, very, if you have nothing to lose, then you are a very dangerous machinery. Very dangerous. If you have nothing, because in fact, it was you're wasting my time. Yeah, I thought when I was told people had come from out, you were recruiting. People are recruited as cheap as 50,000 shillings into all kinds of things. Into all kinds of things, including terrorism. Okay, Karamoja, women like me who have pushed children are selling girls at 50 or 25. There's a woman who sold the 3 of her daughters to a total stranger. Some of them are now where in Somalia. Some of them are now where in Nigeria with the Boko Haram. From Karamoja. Sincerely, where did we degenerate there? So we need really, it is something that is scary. But once we start it, we can do it with the education, with the health system, with the jobs, skills, you know? And then we go to issues of the attitude and mentality. You're Uganda. You're Uganda. You know, we are human beings. That is what I don't want to associate with him. Where are you from? 1, 2. We must stop it. When you invite me to give a speech, don't pay me. Don't. You know, that transactional thing must stop, and it starts with us. Yes. Okay? And then we must challenge and speak out. When we expose their twins, didn't she come and say, we are now tired of being called the thieves? So we must document. We must create our own halls of fame and walls of shame. People don't want to be called thieves. We must do it. It's actually doing wonders what we did during the elections, exposing these guys. Yes, didn't they remove their names? We actually drove this guy to the defense. We did. They removed their names. They did what? So we need to speak loud. We need to remain focused. We need to be self-censored. And we need to do it together.
What message do you have for a young person out there that is willing to take part in the electoral process, in elective politics in general?
Thank you very, very much. Our time, they used to say, the young people are the future of tomorrow. No. Right now, we have hope in the young people. Every young person, we have hope in your leadership because you are not tainted. You are not tainted. Our generation is tainted. It's dirty. Majority are dirty. So you are coming to the space of politics. Clean, virgin. Come to politics, run, because you believe in being accountable to 2 categories of people, the dead and those that are not yet born. You are coming to cleanse our detained political space, such that human beings will learn to enjoy themselves, such that it's okay to be who I am, to celebrate ourselves. We salute the young people because you have traversed our boxes. We are boxed up. I'm only in the north. I'm only here. But the young people, you have created your own space, virtual. Occupy it, celebrate it, and use it appropriately for leadership. Come to leadership because you believe you have something to offer. Come to leadership because you are transformational. Transform, not transactional. Come to leadership because you have a dream to rescue our country that is falling in a bottomless pit. You are our hope. Please run for political spaces and run for values and run for humanity. And you must all come run for those political offices. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. This has been very fulfilling for me. It's one of the best I've had in life. Conversation I've learned a lot from. Thank you so much for honoring. This has been the Idea Podcast. We definitely are going to share these ideas with a lot more people out there. Thank you.
I'm very honored. I'm very humbled.
Thank you too.
And this is home anytime.